Well, I met Bishop Michael Brooks back in '81. I was like 17 years old and he was like 20 years old. Actually, I was singing with a group called Sounds of Joy back then, which was Carl Reed from Commissioned and myself, and then my cousins, Mark Staten on drums and Lloyd Dew on bass, and Carl's cousin, Jimmy Moore, on keyboard. And then there was a brother by the name of Jacques Lejour, who was on lead guitar. And Jacques is who told me about a group called Blessed. He said, hey, this group called Blessed, phenomenal musicians and singers, you know, there are 2 female singers and they're possibly looking for a guy, singer. You want to check them out? I said, well, yeah, sure. You know, back then at that age, I just wanted to sing as much as possible. You know, we all were just trying to be busy doing music. So I went over to their rehearsal with Jacques and, you know, met everyone. It was Michael Brooks on keyboard, Mo, can't think of his last name right now, on bass, Michael Williams from Commissioned on drums, and Jacques Lejour on guitar. And then the lady singers was Monica Stuckey and Vicki Wilkins, I believe. Yeah, Vicki Wilkins. And so I get there and, you know, I meet them and, you know, so Mike is the leader of the group. You know, Mike's always been our leader, and, you know, and he was actually the leader, songwriter, keyboard player for the group. And, you know, I meet them and, you know, Mike is like, hey, well, hey guys, you think, you know, let's audition Keith. And they were like, yeah, okay, great. So they had me, you know, I picked a song and Mike played it. I think, you know, him, I can't think of what it was now, but sang the song, and I could tell that they were really feeling the song. You know, they were, you know, looking at each other, and I could kind of tell that it was going well. And so then afterwards, Mike said, well, you know, why don't you leave the room and we'll talk and then have you come back in. So I left the room. About 20 seconds later, they were coming. Someone's coming, come on back in, you know. And they said, definitely, you know, we all love you. We want you to sing. So, you know, I started singing with that group Blessed, with Mike being the writer. And actually we sang the songs like Giving My Problems to You, You Got a Friend, The City, we did in the studio. And matter of fact, that's how Fred first heard me sing, because at the time, actually, Pop Winans was our manager, and he let Fred hear that song, and later I met Fred and all. But anyway, in Blessed, Mike was just like, hey, you know, only 20 years old, phenomenal writer, you know, leader, and yeah, it was great meeting him back in, like I said, around 81. So yeah, fast forwarding about a year after being in Blessed, I remember us coming together for a meeting with Pop Winans, and he got the whole group together, and he started talking about some ideals and things he wanted to do with the group. So he had this question like, hey, how many of you all really feel like if we had the opportunity today, you know, you would go for this as a full-time, you know, ministry, full-time career, you know, singing? And from what I remember, the only ones that raised their hand and said, yeah, let's go, was Michael Brooks, Michael Williams, and myself, you know. And because I think at a very young age, Michael knew that, you know, he was to do some great ministry for the Lord, and myself and Williams as well. So right after that is when 82, the group Commission, we all formed in 82. And Michael just really took that amazing writing ability right over to Commissioned. I mean, the guys, you know, would hear the music. Fred, you know, had already heard a lot of the stuff when we were in Blessed. And, you know, I think Fred said it best. I got to see his tribute to Mike, and he said that Michael was the engine to the group Commissioned. And that's a great way to put it, because out of all great singing and producing, and if you don't have amazing songs, I just remember, when I was with the Sounds of Joy, we were singing, the whining songs, Clark Sister songs. And so going to Bless was like, wow, we really have our own songs and they're amazing. And then again, took that over to Commission. So we were always amazed at his writing ability, especially being, at that time, like 21 years old. And, it's just really amazing. And he was always, his personality in the group, we used to tease him, because he was from Connecticut. He was East Coast, and I believe it was Connecticut. And, so he had that swag, that East Coast, and the real kind of proper talking and really smart and, informative guy, And so we would mess with him and say, hey, buddy, don't mess with me. I'm from Connecticut, buddy, and we would laugh about that. But we knew he was somebody special. And, like I said, I think he knew at a young age that I'm to do ministry, and that ministry of writing and playing music, expanded to preaching and teaching and actually pastoring church with his lovely wife, Lisa Brooks. And so Bishop Michael Brooks, I think we saw that in him years ago when we were young. Well, it's no doubt that Michael Bishop Brooks will go down in the history book of gospel music as one of the greatest songwriters in the history of gospel music, modern music. But also I want to add his producing. Michael Brooks is an amazing producer of music, keyboard player. And I just remember, when we first started I think we started recording, Commissioned, we started recording like in 82, 83, I believe. But anyway, young guys, early 20s, and I remember we were working on the first I'm Going On project, and the great master of music, Thomas Whitfield, was producing. And he produced, I think, about the first, it was 3 songs, I believe. And it's amazing to watch, Fred and Mike just really soaking up everything from Thomas Whitfield, and all of us, learning our parts. But those guys were learning production. And, after a while, because of budget stuff, we were really just financing the project ourselves, and later on Light Records bought into the project. But so because of budgeting, Thomas Whitfield couldn't go on with it. And it was crazy to see those guys, at first they were like thinking, hey, we have to find a producer. And then it just ends up being that, hey, wait a minute, we could do it ourselves. Let's just keep moving. They had learned enough from Thomas Whitfield to move on. So to watch Mike and Fred go on and produce the stuff is just amazing. And I mean, they were amazed themselves, and they didn't think, excuse me, at that young age we could do this, but they did. And it changed the world. It changed the way, people listen to music and do music these days. And Mike actually produced my first solo project, From the Heart. And Mike produced From the Heart. It was amazing project, and actually, I mean, the songs like Miracle and Deliverance, and I mean, it was really amazing. More of sort of leaning more towards like a pop sound as opposed to R&B. Had some of that Commissioned vibe a little, but more of a pop sound. And but the project, would have done very, very well. But right after we released that project, months after, the label kind of closed up our division. But Mike produced it. My second solo project was with Mitchell and Mitch Jones, Max Frank. And then the third and fourth was with Fred Hammond. And now I have a fifth solo project that was produced by Marcus Cole. That's just kind of on hold with all of the things that Fred, Marcus, and I are doing. So I'm just sort of waiting for the right time for that. But Mike produced that first, my first From the Heart project, which was amazing. Well, my last memory of Bishop Brooks was in 2019 when we did the Commission reunion tour. I mean, I've been in contact with him in more recent times, but that is a time we really got to spend a bunch of quality time together. You know, all the guys in Commission. We had a great time, great tour, just great camaraderie and all of that. But I just remember, you know, and it really stuck out to me then, and of course now as I reminisce, that, you know, you couldn't spend more than a few minutes with Bishop Brooks without him talking about the goodness of the Lord, talking about, you know, ministry and just loving people. And, you know, whenever we would talk, that would just come out of him, you know, something, some example or something about the Lord. And so that really blessed me, you know, to see that. And I'm just going to really miss him. I thank God for his wife, Lisa Brooks, Pastor Lisa Brooks, and his son, Jay Brooks, Jessica Brooks' daughter, also his daughter, Tasha Lockhart, and all of the family, Lisa's children. Just praying for all of you all, and the church praying for you all. And, you know, we're going to miss him. I mean, we're still just, I know I'm just still trying to process everything, and it's just like amazing to me. But I am appreciative that I had the time, a lifetime of just ministry with him. And, you know, again, he was, when I met him, I was around 17. He was around 20. And just spent all these years just being able to appreciate him, work with him, you know, be with him. And we're going to miss him. And definitely thank God that he is with the Lord now and in the presence of the Lord. But here on earth, we're going to miss Bishop Michael Allen Brooks.
And right now, we'd like to sing a song for you to just give you our view of what we think heaven would be like.
See it all so clear, the light shining brightly, the glory draws me near. Oh, beauty in each mile, every mile, all the people wear a smile. It's the city of the Master, and to go you must be changed. Yes, Jesus is the Master of the city bright and fair, yeah. To dwell with him in heaven shining brightly. The glowing draws me near. Oh, beauty, smile every mile. All the people wear a smile. It's the city of the Master, and to go you must be changed. Love this man. Change from the life of sin to one that brings great joy within. Changed in a twinkling of an eye. Meet him in the sky, in the sky, in the city of the Master. To go you must be changed. Lies a city that's 4 square, where we'll never have to toil, and the Lamb shall live right there. God shall